Do you know what we're here for?
Equal parts. Oh my gosh.
Illegal.
Or under indictment, or just kind of sick of him in general. So JD is kind of number one in the Entourage, right? If you're like ranking Entourage members, right? So let's start off with him, right? We're already talking about him. Might as well. Let's try and break him down here, historically speaking. He's not that old, but let's see, gonna help the Daily Show wants to give us today.
Came from Middletown, Ohio. I am proud of it, and I will never forget where I came from.
But what he would forget is everything else.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
The simple fact is, he's the best president of my lifetime.
Jesus Christ.
Or for stealing merchandise, or for having...
He clearly has a really high opinion of Appalachians. Jesus Christ. If I were, living in the mountains of Appalachia, I'd be a little bit offended by some of these words he's choosing to use to describe me. And
never forget the time I convinced myself that I was gay. She said, how would you know that you're gay? At the time, the only thing I knew about...
Where did that one come from? Unexpected. Anybody know this tidbit about JD? Apparently, at one point, he was convinced that he was gay.
They preferred men to women. I disliked girls, and my best friend in the world was my buddy Bill. Finally, she asked, JD, do you want to suck? And I said,
wow.
Of course not. Then she said, you're not gay. And even if you did want to suck, that would be okay.
Okay.
Whoa.
See
Whoa,
you at
grandma.
Pride,
Whoa,
Mama.
grandma.
To attend Yale Law School, where he would meet his future wife. Nothing would keep them apart.
I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, but I love Lucia.
Marriage really is about compromise. JD sought honest work down in the valley, where remembering where he came from sometimes meant forgetting where he was.
I didn't come from the elites. I didn't come from San Francisco.
You were out in San Francisco now, right?
That's right.
Working for Peter Thiel?
Yeah, I work at one of the venture capital funds that he co-founded.
Zuckerbuck.
The other way around. No opinion was safe from JD's MAGA memory wipe.
Universities provide high-quality talent for folks to get their businesses off the ground. The universities in our country are fundamentally corrupt. It's really important not to just fabricate and lie to other people. I think the election was stolen from Trump.
JD's moral flexibility propelled him into the MAGA A-list.
So this is number one in Donald Trump's entourage. Let's go to number two. Let's talk about a guy by the name of Mark Robinson, who's apparently very normal and not into anything weird, just like JD and Trump, where Mark Robinson was at a church telling people about stuff that he thinks with his brain.
Instead of and ah. And just see your brain work and try to do it.
Yeah, don't take the ums and ahs out. Just change them to ub.
It's a rebrand.
Limbaugh,
Give it a facelift.
Limbaugh be like on the IM. I've taken so many of these damn pills that I can no longer come.
So stupid.
Can't get it up.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Anyways,
trouble,
anyways, folks, this is North Carolina gubernatorial candidate Mark Robinson. Back on June 30th, endorsed. This is about a week or so ago. Just came out a couple of days ago.
You know, it was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it.
Illegal.
We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it. When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, what do? We flew to Japan. And we killed the Japanese army and navy.
Committed a war crime, too.
We didn't even quibble about it.
Bunch of them.
I didn't start this fight. You did. You wanted to be left alone. You should have left me alone. We didn't argue and capitulate and talk about, well, maybe we shouldn't fight the Nazis that hard. No, they're bad. Kill them.
Illegal.
Wait.
Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too
This
bad.
is interesting. Because in this speech here, Mark Robinson is claiming publicly that he thinks Nazis are bad. This may come up later. Write that down.
Pause it. You know what's amazing about this? What's amazing about this is that there's not an applause line for killing Nazis. There's not an applause line for killing our enemies. The applause line comes when he claims he's going to offend liberals.
I mean,
it is so fascinating.
That's really their modus operandi, right? Or the way that
their
Republicans
organizing
are.
principle. It's
that.
Seriously, though. All right, now let's go here to more recent stuff that's been happening with Mark Robinson. This is CNN from a few days ago.
The Trump campaign reeling tonight after a stunning report from our own K-File, which reveals the Trump-backed candidate for governor in North Carolina, Mark Robinson, has made dozens of disturbing and damning comments on a porn website. Some of the comments are frankly so disturbing that we cannot air them. They include Robinson writing, quote, "I am a black Nazi, and I wish they would bring it, slavery, back."
Why?
Robinson
Wait.
also calling himself a, quote,
Why does that statement need... Why does that need the parentheses slavery? It's very strange to me. It's so confusing.
himself a, quote, perv while discussing his...
So remember, he just before said Nazis are bad, just moments ago, and now suddenly he is claiming to himself be a black Nazi, apparently, allegedly.
For transgender pornography. Keep in mind that he has called
Sorry, gotta go back.
it slavery back. Robinson also calling himself a, quote, perv while discussing his affinity for transgender pornography. Keep in mind that he has called transgender kids sick and demonic. These...
Wow, yeah, so he's called transgender kids sick and demonic and may apparently have an affinity for transgender porn. No, I mean, hey, it's fine whether, you know, no king shaming here, but if you're going to enjoy that stuff, I would say maybe lay off the hateful rhetoric. Also, the Nazi thing, you know, apparently, supposedly, this man is claiming he himself is a black Nazi, but just moments ago saying, as we saw in that other clip, that he thought Nazis were bad. It's all very confusing for my brain. All right. Let's go here. WRAL from a day ago, where Mark Robinson made his first public appearance since this bombshell CNN report.
Mark Robinson did make his first public appearance since that CNN report came out. We are still waiting for him to show up. He's at a meet and greet event at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live at the Speedway right now. Carly.
Well, Julian, this race is just about to get started itself. We're seeing hundreds of people here, many of them surprised to learn that Robinson would be attending this event himself. And this is the first time that we're covering him since that article was published and new allegations came out about his past. And that CNN article was published earlier this week where he made those comments on a porn forum. Robinson has since denied these allegations through videos he posted on his social media. He remained in the governor's race as the Republican nominee. This is despite calls for him to drop out from the NAACP and from some congressional Republicans. And again, this is happening.
And other reports have shown that he was scheduled to be with Donald Trump for some of his most recent events and did not show up. And, you know, considering he's doing this event, leads one to believe that perhaps he may already be out of the entourage. He was in it, and now suddenly he may be out of it. It's very confusing. It's unclear. But up until now, Donald Trump had been saying very sort of positive and complimentary things about Mark Robinson. he had been quoted as saying Mark Robinson was, what did he say? He said Mark Robinson was Martin Luther King ×2. If I recall correctly. Let's talk about somebody by the name of Laura Loomer, who has been in the spotlight quite a lot lately. And Majority Report did a piece on this situation that happened a few months ago with her on the Timcast.
Tim Pool had Laura Loomer on his show. Now, again, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not qualified to make any clinical judgments on people, but in a more vernacular way, it is quite clear that Laura Loomer is completely bat crap crazy.
Oh, yes.
And Tim, of course, wants her in there because, I don't know, maybe this is a favor to Trump, or maybe it's just it's the way that Tim feels rational. You know how
she's good at kickflips.
Tim has been dealing with a lot of stuff. People have been pouring grease down his faucets.
At the compound.
At the compound. He has been making wild accusations that are actionable, I think, in a court of law. We know that he's facing some legal issues, aren't he? I think we had,
Mark Bankson is, yeah, he may have defamed somebody. May have.
And who knows who's out there thinking that they're going to, you know, make him back up some of his really horrific claims that he must know are false.
About pretty severe subject matter, too.
Crimes, yeah.
But
yeah, they are crimes. Hold on, I gotta get us to the right spot. Just figured I think this was a good place to start in terms of Laura Loomer and understanding who she is as a person and as a media figure.
Loomer with Tim Pool from Friday, May 31st.
Idea that I would, the idea that we decide, I'll put it this way. Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. And the reason for that is they've committed crimes. We need to make sure.
Pause it. Now, listen, we've done about 4 of these from all different right-wing talkers this week, and they all say the same thing. General crimes, general people. If there are crimes out there, list them.
Yep.
List them and the perpetrators. But they never do, because whatever it is, that whoever sent around these things. Who was it? Who else said this earlier this week?
Megyn Kelly. So you've got.
Yes, Megyn. A very even-keeled, totally not insane woman. But yeah, there was Laura Loomer forcing Tim Pool to wait, hold on. Actually, wait, no, this is the wrong one. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Where is it? There. This is not what this one. Forcing Tim Pool to correct here. Now here's something else that she forced him to do.
Try and convict other criminals. You know what I say to that? Please. Please.
Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. And the reason for that is they've committed crimes. We need to make sure that when Donald Trump wins, we've got an attorney general, a deputy attorney general, a head of the CIA and the FBI. Kash Patel would be fantastic. We can have attorney general. There's some names floating around. And then they can start having their investigators and the feds issuing subpoenas, pulling up evidence, and with real evidence, bring them to judges for warrants. Then these people can spend three years of their lives fighting tooth and nail for the crime against the government for crimes they committed, and we can prove. And the reason why we put them on trial is that we can show the whole world we will uncover what you've done. We will make sure everyone knows, and you will be held accountable for it.
Not just jail, they should get the death penalty. You know, we actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
And there,
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, we.
That is so unfortunate.
Illegal.
So yeah, she forced poor Tim Pool to end his Tim Cast abruptly by saying things that could be construed as, incitement to violence or other sorts of illegal things.
It's science.
Yeah, there's just a first taste of Laura Loomer there. I think we have a little bit more on Laura. Yes, we do. Let's go here. This is Laura Loomer reacting to recent backlash Trump has received for spending all this time with her. We've seen recently on this stream they seem to be very close, very, very close, both physically and just generally speaking. She apparently has his phone number. They talk all the time. Let's go here to a different report. The damage report from a day ago. They found some clips that I can't even access or can't figure out how to find. So let's watch some of this.
The media is full of, okay, these people are liars, they are con artists, and all they do is lie. They are running a coordinated smear campaign because I am effective. Donald Trump likes me. Donald Trump trusts me, okay? Obviously he trusts me if I'm...
Immediately, if not...
Wow. She is very animated about this. I've never seen her podcast before. It appears to be on Rumble, which is probably part of why I can't seem to find it. It doesn't seem that she's reposting on YouTube. Now that I think about it, I'm guessing that she's probably not allowed on YouTube for some of the stuff she says.
Donald Trump likes me. Donald Trump trusts me, okay? Obviously he trusts me if I'm on his plane, and I don't work for Donald Trump. They can't imagine the fact that the President of the United States has people in his life who he considers to be friends. Is the President of the United States not allowed to have a friend? Oh my God. Is he not allowed to invite people onto his own private jet? Oh, the horror that a billionaire who owns a private jet invited somebody that he gets along with to sit on his jet.
I mean, aside from the obvious sort of social inequality statements that we could make about all of this, I mean, he's not just a billionaire. He's a guy running for president who used to be president, who's hanging out with you, Laura, a person who says a bunch of really, really crazy stuff, usually.
So those...
Okay, hold on. I genuinely couldn't find any of these clips anywhere. Like, I don't even... They must be subscribed to her on Rumble or something. Maybe I need to get on Rumble. Maybe that's it.
The dumbest and most conspiratorial people in the country.
Now, you're going to elect me, and I'm going to lock him up. We're going to get Trump. Like, the way they talk and their little Shaniqua voices, and it's just very piercing, very
Wow, this just got very racist very quick.
irritating sound. They all have the same voice. I'm talking about Kamala Harris, Letitia James, and Fannie Willis. Like, all of the, meritless DEI Shaniquas talk the same way. It's very obnoxious.
Why is Donald Trump hanging around with this woman? Because he's lost the plot. He's completely lost the plot. This is repellent to the very voters he will need. There's no reason for this. She's disgusting. She's also a lunatic and a huge drag. And not the first drag, by the way. I think J.D. Vance is the first drag on his ticket. That was a bad decision. This is the next one.
Immediately, if not sooner.
Okay, hold on. There's one more clip in here that I want to see.
Yeah, the DEI Shaniquas.
Where's the other? Is there a third clip? I can't remember. Is there a third one? No. Okay, we don't need the rest of this right now. Okay. Yeah, there's Laura Loomer very animated about all of this. People criticizing Trump for hanging out with her, even though she has said some wild stuff. It's a real weird vibe she gives off, not gonna lie. But she's not the only person who's been endorsing and hanging out with Trump. Political Dynasty recipient, or, well, not recipient, really, well, but yeah, but also member, RFK Jr., who was running for president, has now essentially dropped out of the race and endorsed Donald Trump. We're counting him as being part of this new entourage because they seem to be getting along pretty good, not gonna lie. Let's go here. This was 4 months ago. ABC News had a report on the state of RFK Jr.'s health.
There was an eye-opening headline tonight involving presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The New York Times reporting on a 2012 deposition during which RFK Jr. said doctors once found a parasite, a dead worm, in his brain. Tonight, what his campaign is now saying about this, and here's Kana Whitworth.
Tonight, new questions about the health of independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. after he claimed a doctor discovered a dead worm in his brain. According to the New York Times, Kennedy testified in a 2012 deposition that he experienced memory loss at the time, saying, I have cognitive problems.
Yeah,
clearly.
that checks
Kennedy
out.
said one of the doctors said it could have been caused by a worm that got into my brain and ate a portion of it and then died.
Clearly.
People have at least some degree of cognitive.
So yeah, if you didn't know, there you go. According to RFK Jr. himself, he's got a dead brainworm floating around in there somewhere. I'm not a doctor, I don't know. But it's apparently, clearly, according to him, affected his cognitive abilities.
It's science.
All right, here was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. getting in an argument with probably one of my least favorite Democrats. But some of the things, just the way that he reacts to this, kind of shows you his temperament. Do regard the Debbie Wasserman Schultz part of all of this. At least I would advise you to do so.
His reckless
Free country.
rhetoric helped fuel anti-Semitic incidents, which for the record are at the highest level in the United States since 1970. They have nearly tripled in the last 6 years. Last week, you floated a baseless conspiracy theory that the coronavirus was bioengineered to target Caucasians and black people, but to spare Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people. Mr. Kennedy, your bizarre, unproven claim echoes that same historic slander of labeling Jews and Chinese people as a race, and that Jews, and in this case Chinese people, somehow managed to avoid a deadly illness that targets other groups for death. You do see that, yes or no?
You're misstating.
No. I quoted what you said earlier, and it is directly what you said. So just ask me yes or no.
I was describing an NIH-funded study.
No, you didn't cite any.
I was describing an NIH-funded study by Cleveland Clinic
Reclaiming
scientists.
Reclaiming my time. You did not reference. Reclaiming my
Published
time.
in USC
Mr.
Medical,
Chairman,
which is one.
The time is mine. I'm reclaiming it. Please ask the witness to stop talking.
You asked me a question.
Reclaiming.
Allow me to answer my question.
If he was capable of shouting, he would be shouting. But unfortunately for him, shouting isn't really... Well, it's not really RFK's strong suit. It's more sort of just a eviscerated voice box sort of sound. Most days, it would seem.
I've got stuff going on right now. What you don't understand is that the NIH told me some stuff, a bunch of stuff, and they told me that the Jews and the Chinese people were coming after us.
Illegal.
All right, now let's see some of, perhaps some future members of Donald Trump's entourage. They're not quite prepared to do any speeches or anything like that. But let's look at these two individuals here. Carolina and Luke, whatever that means. Well, you made it to the end of the video. Might be thinking to yourself, I should go find something else to watch. But before you hastily go off and do such a thing, I really recommend you subscribe to this channel. And don't forget that little bell icon as well, otherwise you will Never know when all the galactic news is happening.